Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about all the books that I read last week. So, you guys, I debated if I was going to share this video or not, or make this video or not, because it's the week of DNFs, and it's the week of not finishing much, and all of that. But you guys have been commenting that some of you are going through the same kind of thing where I am, where you're DNFing a lot, and just nothing seems to be hitting quite right. And so I figured I would share, if for nothing else, to normalize just kind of going through a funk. So let's start with the middle grade, as always, and we'll talk about that, and then we will go to the adult books. So first, my kids and I read Jack versus the Tornado. This is number 1 in the Tree Street Kids series, and I heard about this series from Lindsay over Lindsay is Books for Christian Girls, and this is the start of a series, like I said, book 1, and this one follows Jack. He moves from a farm to the suburbs of Chicago, and it's not a far move, like it's like an hour away. But his family is just tired of running the farm. They don't want, financially they can't really swing it, and it's a lot of work as his parents and grandparents are aging, and so everybody's moving. The parents and Jack's family moves first, and then the grandparents are moving later. And so he's not happy about it, and he decides to do different jobs in the neighborhood to earn enough money to go back to the farm, because this is like 8-year-old logic. And so he meets his neighbor and has this relationship with his older neighbor, who it starts as like, hey, I'll mow your lawn, and then it turns into a whole bunch of different projects, because his neighbor is kind of being assaulted by, like, I think it's like the HOA or something, telling him that he is a neighborhood nuisance. And so Jack wants to help. And so Jack also gets involved in this group of kids that decide to they call themselves the Tree Street Kids, Tree Street Gang, something like that. My kids are all standing right here. So they are gonna, I'm sure, give their input, but they are there, and Jack doesn't really want to be a part of the friend group because he wants to leave, and so all of that. Well, then a tornado hits, and they all have to come together, and it's bonding. It's great. It's everything good. So this is a Christian fiction series for kids. And so I really love that, and love that element of like faith woven in. I will say they find a bomb shelter in the neighbor's backyard, and it's from the 60s. And they kind of talk about that. I think it kind of freaked my kids out at first. We had a lot of conversations about what a bomb shelter was, why it was used, all that kind of stuff. So just be aware that is like a huge plot point in this book. So try to caution if that is something that might make your sensitive kids a little nervous. Then I read, and I did not expect this to be middle grade, but I think it is. It's the Mother-Daughter Book Club, and this is by Heather Vogel Frederick. Now, this is the first in a series. It's like a 6-hour audiobook. I saw it scrolling on Libby one day, and I thought this would be something I love. And it follows, let's see, I can't remember how old the girls are, but they are, Emma and Darcy is the family that we start following. So her name's Emma. The brother's name is Darcy. So mom is a librarian and a big book nerd. Dad's also a book nerd. And so there's that. But the mom creates like a mother-daughter book club, and of course her arch nemesis is there, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, I DNF this at like 7%, and so not very far, like midway into the second chapter, because in those chapters there was excessive, like, painful bullying. There was body shaming. There was huge disrespect to parents. There was cursing. There was just a lot of stuff that I was like, goodness gracious, this may be a great character arc, but I'm not here for it. This is it, knowing it's a middle grade, because I think it's her first year of middle school, maybe. Knowing it's a middle grade, this is not something I'm going to pass on to my kids, and just not something, like, again, if there's great character growth, awesome, but it was so excessive in the first 20 pages that I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to spend my time on that. So that is the middle grade, and now let's talk about the adults. So start with another DNF, Every Other Weekend. This is by Zulema Renee Summerfield, and I saw this at the library bookstore, and it sounded like something I was really going to like, and it has very low ratings on Goodreads, and so I don't know why I did it anyway, but it's got very short chapters. And it follows this girl as her parents are divorced and life is happening. Now, the short chapters, I had started it and said I think this was on a Patreon weekend, so I don't know if you guys thought, but I said I thought there was like a cohesive storyline going on, but the further I got, the less cohesive it felt, and it just felt like random interjections of this girl's life, and it just it didn't feel cohesive at all. It didn't feel like we were going anywhere. It didn't feel like I was getting enough to know the characters. And so I DNF'd this book because I read it for like 5 days and was very not far. Like, I read maybe 100 pages, but for that in 5 days when it's like 2 or 3 page chapters, that should not be the case. So if I'm picking up everything else but this, it's time to let it go. So there is that. And then I read Dawn's Prelude by Tracy Peterson. This is the first in her Song of Alaska or something. Oh, yeah, it says right here, Song of Alaska, book 1. This is for my book haul revisit. So you will see that later this week. So I'm not going to tell you any of my thoughts on that, but that's there. Then I read My Phony Valentine, which is the first in Holidays with Heart, the Holidays with Heart series by Courtney Walsh. And I really enjoy this book. I read this book as a part of my collab with Laura from Laura's Lovely Library. And it's one of her favorite books. And I really don't have anything negative to say about it. I really liked it. But again, I'm going to point you to that video so you can see more of my thoughts in real time on that. And then last is of things I completed is Spiritual Parenting by Michelle Anthony, An Awakening for Today's Family, which is also a part of my book haul revisit. So again, this is like clickbait central. I'm going to have you wait until my video here later this week to see what I thought about this. But so I did not finish a lot, and definitely not a lot that I can talk to you about. However, I'm currently reading a lot. So let's talk about that. So Adventures with According to Humphrey is the audiobook that my kids and I are listening to. We don't listen to audio very often. Most often, honestly, is car rides or when we are working on a puzzle, but we are currently working on a Chiefs puzzle that is so hard. And I'm not here for super hard puzzles. I'm here for we love a good 500, 750 piece, but I want a busy puzzle that makes it easy. And this is not that. So we're not reading this super fast, but we did go apple picking and some other things where we had longer car rides. So I think we're about 60% of the way through. These are all kind of starting to feel the same to me, but the kids really like them. And Humphrey's a sweet character. He's a class hamster, and it's a sweet series. But a series that we do love is The Kicks, and we are book 4, maybe? Is this 4? 4 or 5. This is hat trick, and this follows a middle school soccer team. Okay, follows a middle school soccer team, and that's all I'll say about that. It is a really, really great series. Then I am reading, let's see, I'm still reading this, Tonight We Pray for the Mama, and I'm actually making headway through it. I'm making sure to do at least one a day. I started this spring, fell off the wagon, but we're back. I'm loving it. Really like this little devotional. If you haven't seen a page, it's a story written by a mother and daughter, and then a prayer, and the prayers are so great. Really love this book. And then let's see what else I'm reading. I'm also reading Hank and Chloe by Joanne Mapson, just because I was wanting a physical book. And so I told my daughters, hey, go pick 2 or 3 and I'll pick which one. And this is one that I'm not sure I'm going to love. So I thought, well, I'm going to do this. And it's the same kind of thing. I am, let's see, 41 pages in, and I'm enjoying it. We're getting perspectives of Hank and Chloe. Chloe is kind of a rough around the edges. She works at a restaurant, but she also is a kind of like a horse doula of some sort. And so there's that. And then Hank is an assistant professor, and it's their romance, but it is so far so good. It says an earthy, tender tale of unlikely romance. It marks the arrival of a gifted new novelist likely to be entertaining readers for many years to come. So the fact that I'm not reading this super quickly is less of a testament to my enjoyment, because I do like it. But it is more of I'm behind on Bible study and everything, and just life is chaotic. So I'm not reading this super fast, but I am enjoying this. I'm also listening to A Grown Up Kind of Pretty by Jocelyn Jackson. And, the thing I'm reading an ebook, I have so many books going right now, is How About Now by Kate Baer, which she is one of my favorite poets. I'm not a huge poetry gal at all, but this one is her new one. Let me see if I can get the cover. Well, I won't show you the cover right now because I want to talk about it. I want to show you guys or read some of my bookmarks. So she is a poet that writes about motherhood and womanhood and being a woman in a Western culture today, and it's just so good. Of course, with all poetry collections, some hit home, some don't, but let's see, we've got I'm not going to read that one out loud. Let's see. We've got a couple bookmarks that I have here. Daughter, I can love you forever. It's very easy for me. I'm sorry if it makes you sick, the love I'm carrying. You were born in a dark room. They said she's perfect. And I said, why wouldn't she be? We wrapped you in a muslin cloth, your fists escaping in furious rebellion. When you cried, it was quiet and unfamiliar. First a triumph, then a fear, making roots. What is she hiding? I asked your father. He proudly carried you through the halls, Athena and her god. Now you stand outside my bedroom door, lovely as a December morning. When I ask to braid your hair, you squirm in primal detachment. To love you here in this forever is the only true thing I know. So that's a really good one. Then undivided attention. We make lists of things to do with children. Top 10 things to buy for children. Birthdays, holidays. Should we buy a wooden playset? Maybe a museum pass. So much of it is just survival. Distract from what they really want. Eyes up, arms out, knees against the carpet. How difficult it is to give yourself away. Whew. I'm going to read just a couple more. Maybe two more. So the bridesmaid speech. I've known her all her life, and by that I mean I've seen her in the impossible light of girlhood, the spaces in between, the car on the way to the birthday dinner, the moment before the photograph. I've stood outside the bathroom stall, held tight while her shoulders shook with sorrow. I've watched joy arrive, midnight and unexpected, repeated stories until they were my own. It's true, there is a cost to this devotion, but I'll let you in on a little secret. There is very little women choose to keep from one another. How lucky we are to know a love like this. So just for all the girlfriends out there, I just love that. And then let's do one more. The invisible hand. The time dripped from the in the faucet until late 30s. An invisible hand reached down and turned to the tap to steady stream. I couldn't begin to understand it, the very sudden brevity of seasons. 1 minute cutting a watermelon, the next a Christmas tree. I stood at the sink and wondered how to spend my life. There was no answer. Instead, a voice from behind the curtain. We only have so many summers left with our children. Like a good mother, I made plans. So she just writes such good poetry. And again, not everyone hits the same, but they're so good. They're so good. So that is everything that I'm currently reading. I've got an ebook, a physical book, an audiobook. But I'm hoping things are looking up. I'm hoping things will be better in my reading life, and that next week I will be like, hey, I just had all these bangers. So let me know what was the best thing you read this week. What's one thing you're looking forward to this week, and tell me something happy. So that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.